So I was going on and on and on. The video only recorded like 12 minutes, and it then stopped recording. So I think I'm just gonna restart. It is what it is. Sometimes life just goes that way. But I think I figured out why my videos are cutting short. It doesn't really matter. I don't really have to go into the explanation. But we're gonna carry on just because I feel like I still have the pre-workout going through my system. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning, and then hopefully the video just doesn't stop, because I think I figured out why I was doing that in the first place. And it kind of blows that was happening, but it's all good. Like, you live and you learn. Like, this is okay. We get knocked down, but we got to stand up and we got to keep going. Like, that sounds cringe maybe to say, but that's real. Like, if you take I almost said, like, if you take a beating, but let's hold up, relax. In like serious talk though, if something doesn't go the way that you anticipated, or if something doesn't go out the way that you would have liked for it to go out, that doesn't mean, like, of course, listen, it's going to happen where sometimes life is just going to, teach you something, and it's going to give you a situation where, like, you really hope that something worked out. It didn't work out, and you're like, well, what do I do? Like, I really wanted it to work out, and I really like the show. Oh my God, I forgot the name of the show. I don't know the show, but it's on Netflix. And hold up, it's not a police officer, but it's on Netflix. I forget the name of it, but it was like, oh, Heartbreak. The guy in the video, or it was like an animated show, and the character was like talking to his mom, like real life. The guy and his mom, they were the voice actors in the scene. And the guy was like, but heartbreaks are really suck. What am I supposed to do? And the mom is literally telling his son, just cry. Just cry. It's completely okay. Like, trust me, it's okay. You can experience it multiple times, like I have, where you get handed a situation where you feel like, oh, I've got it. This is it. And then it slips past you. And you're like, I thought I handled everything the best way that I possibly can, or at least I tried to avoid this outcome or something like that, and it still happened. It's like, you gotta just be able to accept it. But like, me saying those words it's not gonna make it happen for you. It's literally just gonna be it's just gonna play out for you like that. It's gonna naturally just go that way, and you may lose yourself in the process. But one thing about life is that everything moves on. Everything moves on. And that's just a part of this life, and eventually you will find yourself in a spot where you can move on from that situation. But you gotta sort of envision that for yourself, so that you can be able to then have the people around you, or have a certain situation where you're like now you're in tune to the higher things in life. So I'm gonna try to connect back to what I was talking about before. I don't know exactly how well I can do it, because unfortunately the video just cut short, and like, I was going on, and I was like, oh wow, this is really good. But whatever. The point is that let's see, how was I talking in the last video, or the video that unfortunately cut off? But whatever. The point is that, whoo, wow, there are certain things in life, right? Like, this is one of the things that I was talking about. There are certain things in life that will it'll reveal itself to you, and then you never knew that it was there. Like, it's so interesting to me. It's so interesting to me that, like, something came up for me recently that it revealed to me that something was in the background that I didn't know was there at all. And then I found out that it was there, and then I'm like, wait, hold up. What does that mean? Does that mean something? Should it mean something? Should I focus on that? What does that mean? Why was it there? Is there an explanation to that? Should I care about this? I don't know, But the point is, when it revealed to me that it was there, I got kind of like surprised. And I was like, okay, now what's that about? Like, seriously, what is that about? And then I realized that no matter how much I think about it, how much I try to figure it out, it's going to, like, eventually I'm going to realize that if that was going on in the background the entire time, and then later it revealed itself to me, just imagine how much of that there is. There's probably a lot. Maybe there's a few. Maybe that's just like a one-off example or whatever. But seriously, like, when that revealed itself to me, I was shocked. I was like, wait, hold up. I was already in the situation. That situation kind of concluded itself. And then I come and find out that this was going on in the background. And then I tried to go down the rabbit hole of like, wait, hold up. And then I was kind of piecing it together. And it was like, whoa, that was something that I thought that I lost. Turns out it was there. What exactly does that mean? You know, that's a police officer driving by, but thankfully he didn't pull up. Whatever. I kind of wish that the video hadn't cut off, but we got to continue the show anyways. We got to continue this anyways, because it is what it is, you know? Like, sometimes things happen for a reason, you know? But we don't get stuck on that, you know? At least we try to control the things that we can control. If we can learn from them, great. Learn from the things that don't work out. Because those things were, like, literally, all right. So one of the things that happened recently to me, right, was that I kind of did something based on a feeling that let's not make it complicated. I know for a fact that in that moment, what I was doing was genuinely coming from an expression of me genuinely feeling happy about something, right? Me expressing what I felt happy about then revealed to me that although me expressing myself from a place that I was genuinely happy about, you would think, or at least in that moment, I would think, oh, this is going to be a good thing, you know? And then it comes to find out it wasn't a good thing. And then I'm just like, wait, hold up. What's that about? Why is it that I felt good about something, I express it, and then the outcome made me feel like shit? Like, literally, it made me feel like shit. So I'm thinking, okay, life, the universe, if you're listening, why the heck do that to me? Why the heck literally make me feel like I'm in a safe place to express myself joyfully, and then it slips past me, you know? But I think what that genuinely means, at least the sort of answer, the sort of thing that I was able to take away from it, was expressing love can reveal truth. And the outcome of that can hurt. But at the end of the day, if you express yourself from a good feeling, from what you feel to be love or feel to be joy, or from a happy place, and the outcome brought something that you didn't want, but it sort of kind of like, it worked out in a way where, okay, if that's not meant to be, if that's not what I meant to like experience in my life going forward, that should be okay. That should be okay. What I expressed in that moment was a good thing. If what came afterwards basically made the situation go away, it's like, okay, good, actually. That's actually not a bad thing, because it revealed the truth. It revealed something that wasn't necessary. It revealed something that just wasn't going to stick around. And I genuinely think, but I think this just to give me some comfort, if I'm going to be honest, because nothing is definitive, at least to my knowledge, except for, you know, when this body drops. I feel like that's the one thing that for sure is definitive. Like, we just can't skip past that part. But regardless, if that situation fell away because I expressed something that I thought was genuinely, not that I thought, but I know, we're not going to make this complicated. In that moment, I know that it was coming from I know that I was expressing myself from a good feeling. If that expression of a good feeling then made something go away, then regardless of which path we would have taken, that outcome, at least what I think, and again, I could be thinking this just for the comfort of my own thinking, right? Regardless of what path we took to get anywhere, the outcome would have been the same. This would have fallen. The foundation wasn't strong enough. It fell. It collapsed. Okay? So it's all right. It's all right. It wasn't meant to stick around. You know? I genuinely do think that these experiences of taking L's, or because, you know, I spoke to my closest friend about this. We shouldn't be feared. Like, we shouldn't fear taking L's from anyone. If something wasn't going to stick around, of course it's going to hurt, you know? Of course it's going to hurt. You can't skip past that part. Like, you need to allow yourself to feel the hurt, because this is what's going to reveal the truth to you. This is what's going to reveal how you develop, how you progress. It's going to take you further than you ever anticipated before, you know? Comfort for sure is a good thing. If something's going good, don't go ahead and wreck it up or whatever. But even then, like, if you can't stop yourself from doing something, whatever you just did is going to reveal the truth to you. It's going to reveal the truth to you. And the truth may look ugly sometimes, you know? It's going to look like it's ugly because you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel like you want to cry. You're going to feel like, wow, I really wish this worked out. But in truth, that's just what we think. That's just what we think. If the universe is going to reveal to you that it was never going to work out, there's something that you have to understand that's just outside of really our understanding, you know? And this is what I'm talking about earlier. Like, when something revealed to me just a few days ago that it was there in the background that I didn't know of, man, it was there for months. And then it revealed to me that it was there. It was like, it was shocking. It was like surprising, because it was just like, whoa, that was something that I thought was gone. I was sure that was gone. Next thing I know, it was pretty close to me the entire time. And I'm just thinking, well, hold up. Why was that, like, it was close to me this whole time that I thought it was gone entirely? What is that about? Why is that? Like, is that a coincidence? Is that something that, like, we don't know the answer? I'm not going to know the answer to that. Life is genuinely just going to unfold, and then I'll have a better understanding of it. Maybe not, you know? So, genuinely, although I'm expressing myself from a place of just like I'm all amped up and stuff, it's probably the pre-workout, but I feel like it kind of cooled down. Shit is gonna be all right. You know, the mountain that I'm parked right next to. One thing that I can advocate for sure is go out and sort of exhaust yourself, right? If you can go out on a walk in a nature preserve around town, and you go out, like, this is what I was doing earlier, you know, I hit up the mountain that's right here next to me, and I went on the walk, and initially as I'm going in, I kind of went in with this little predicament. And then I'm thinking as I'm going through the walk, it for some reason, I'm not going to say for some reason, just what was happening was in my mind, it felt like I had to choose between two options, right? But then I'm thinking, wait, hold up. I'm just kind of, and I really did laugh to myself afterwards when I came back home and I sent an audio to my friend, because I'm like, why is my mind making me choose between two options? When in reality, what's actually happening around me, it's not like I really need to choose between the two options. That's not what's happening. So it's like, maybe there's a reason why my mind is thinking that. To understand, maybe, I don't really know. But I just know that as I'm walking through there and I'm coming out, I'm having a better understanding of what's kind of, at least slightly, you know, it's not always going to get me the full picture when I go in there, climb up a mountain, climb back down, literally. And then it's not like I'm going to always come out there and have like the biggest understanding ever. But at least I go in there and I'm walking, I'm moving, I'm doing something. I'm surrounding myself and grounding myself with nature. I go in, come back out, and feel like I have a calmer, just more peaceful, more grounding understanding of a certain situation. And then it's just like, okay, I can go on about my day, not so stuck on a specific idea or so stuck on a specific predicament that in truth, or at least in just like how life is going on right now, none of that really even is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Most of what we think about in truth is nowhere near what reality is going to play out for us. That doesn't mean that you can stop yourself from thinking a certain thing or whatever, you know? Like, if you're going to be stuck on something, maybe there's something to work with there, you know? So at the end of the day, it's just like, we really do suffer more in whoa, hold on, let me restart that. We really do suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. That's actually a quote. That's not original at all. I forget which person said it way back then, but it's really true. We suffer way more in our imagination than we do in what's actually happening in reality. Like, it's kind of crazy. And like, I really do like that quote, because genuinely, something was happening in the background that I wasn't aware of. I became aware of it. And it doesn't mean now that I'm stuck on that, trying to understand what that means. But it is interesting to be in tune to that, because it's just like, whoa, if that was there this whole time, and I'm genuinely thinking it's not there or was gone entirely, what more is happening beyond that? We don't know. We don't know. At some point, our level of understanding is not going to get us the full understanding of what's actually happening behind the curtain, behind the veil. We can get a little bit closer. We can continue developing that. But at some point, you just got to surrender. Like, genuinely, at some point, you just have to surrender to understand this is a cosmic play that's unrevealing itself. That's not unrevealing. It's revealing itself, unfolding. Surrender to that. Have an alignment. Oh, one of the things that I said in the video actually that I cut off was genuinely being able to understand your energy in a particular situation that's going on in the moment, right? For instance, in my situation, if there's something that I feel like I want to say or I'm thinking about saying, is it coming from a place that is empty? Is the answer from the other person, is the way that I'm going to feel afterwards dependent on them answering or on what they say? Because if it is dependent on what they say, if it is dependent on them answering at all, why should I bother? Why should I bother and go and say something? When in reality, if I'm saying something from a place where I don't feel like how I feel afterwards is dependent on what they say or anything like that, and it's really just like I don't lose anything by saying this. It's not going to make me feel like shit if I go ahead and say this. Then that's a more comfortable area to say something from. Because then you're just like, oh, I'm giving from overflow. That's literally giving from overflow. If you're able to say, like, for instance, right, and I'm going to just say this because this is the way that I'm applying it in my head, but this can apply to any situation. Romantically, in partnership, whatever it may be, right? If you are interested in someone, right, and what you're going to say or what you're thinking about saying, what you feel like saying, genuinely, if it's coming from a place where how you feel afterwards is dependent on what they say, how they respond, or if they even respond at all, probably just don't say it. Just don't say it. Because you'll realize that what comes, and again, this is just genuinely me speaking on my own experience. I'm sure that it probably would apply to anyone else as well. But just genuinely, if how you feel afterwards is dependent on what they say, if they respond at all, whatever it may be, keep that in. Sit on it. Reflect on it. Calm down. Sleep on it. Whatever it may be. Come back to it later. If you still feel like you just can't go on without saying it, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. You're going to learn from your experiences, okay? You're going to learn from your experiences. If then you find yourself in a situation where how you feel afterwards is not dependent on what they say, on how they respond, if they respond at all, and you go ahead and say it. I mean, it's possible that the outcome can still make you feel like shit, but if you're giving from a state of overflow, then you'll be able to just continue throughout your day, throughout the week, throughout the months, but just being okay with however the outcome is. Because it's just like that it's like an energy exchange, you know? Energy is it's really valuable, because if you're giving from overflow, you'll just, no matter what the outcome is, if the outcome is great, cool. If the outcome is not great, cool. Like if you're giving from overflow, it's gonna be all right. Okay? And over time I've become more in tune to how I feel about that. Trust your body, trust your energy, trust how you feel. Trust the outcome is going to be okay regardless of how you feel. None of this really matters, to be honest, but it does. It does matter, because this is a part of the learning process, a part of the progression, the development that we have in our life. So let's see how long I'm in this video. Hopefully it didn't cut off, because if it did, I'm just going to go home and chill. It's only 18 minutes and 45 seconds. I really wish the other video didn't cut off, because, man, I was really going on and on. But it's all good, you know? Not to be corny, not to be cliche, but genuinely, being that I felt like I've been knocked down so many times, to then be able to stand up and continue going, and tuning more into how I feel, tuning more into just the possibilities, you know, tuning more into what I feel like is my purpose. Coming out here and climbing up a mountain, climbing back down with an idea or with a situation or a predicament playing out of my mind, and coming out and feeling like I have a better understanding, or I'm much calmer, much more peaceful. It's like, I know that I'm going to be okay, you know? And another thing too, like, if the universe is going to play out a cosmic play of something of something revealing itself that I didn't know was there, it's like, whoa, okay, that's really cool, you know? I'm not going to be able to understand it fully. I'm not going to be able to understand why that's happening, but I can trust that if the universe is going to reveal to me that it was playing something on in the background the entire time that I cared about, or that I care about when it revealed itself, it's like, okay, what more do you have in store for me? universe, like, what more do you have in store for me? I don't know. I truly don't know. And I think there's a beauty in really surrendering to that. So go enjoy your life now. And I really do mean that. That's it.